Good morning. We're live. We're live once again. It's Sunday, 11 a.m. Central. I go live every week at this time. Each Sunday, each live stream is a part of my podcast, Brushstrokes and Beyond. So if you hit subscribe, you'll get the notification. So welcome. It's another Sunday, and I'm painting live. Prince, go sit down. It's my dog. Every time I'm on the floor on Sundays painting, he likes to come over here by me. But he has a new haircut, and he's a Yorkie, a black Yorkie with floppy ears. So he was furry, but they shaved all his hair off. I literally have been recovering from my surgery, so I really hadn't had time to tend to him like I was before. And my partner really hadn't had the time either because he's been working and taking care of me. So they had to cut all his fur this time, unfortunately. So I'm glad he had the opportunity to get groomed yesterday. He sorely needed it. So anyway, I am still working on this skyline, Chicago Skyline. And last week I thought I was finished. I had showed you the completed painting, but I did not like the water. The water was too busy. If you tune into the recording of last week's live stream, you'll see that, yeah, the water was kind of busy. So we're just going to take our time and create the water on this one. So I had to paint over it. I am going to first start off painting the reflections again of the towers or the buildings in the water. So, I really don't talk about political issues or social issues on here, but I just wanted to say this thing with the Epstein files. No, there's a lot going on. We just bombed Iran, and I don't know if the reasoning for going into Iran, bombing Iran or starting this war with Iran is to cancel the elections so that this president can have another term. A wartime president can possibly cancel the elections. So I'm not sure if that's what's going on. But it's just been a crazy week with the Epstein files. I've been on social media just learning all sorts of things about who's possibly involved, names that are in these files. And it just makes me think about, the celebrities that we think are crazy, we've been calling crazy. They've come out and said things in the past. And if you don't know who I'm talking about, I'm not going to name any names, but celebrities that we've labeled crazy, they've come out and said things in the past, and it just makes you think, were they speaking about something that we're now is coming to light today. So that's been on my mind heavy this week. And as you can see, I am, if it's red, then I'm adding a red reflection or red paint in the water, in the base layer of the water. If it's orange, then if the building is orange, then I'm adding orange. It has an orange reflection, so on and so on. I just love painting reflections for whatever reason. Looking for my phone. Here we go. I love painting reflections because it just seeing that color in the water, it just enhances the water. So yeah, it just made me think about, you know, people who are powerful don't necessarily believe in karma and consequences, and don't necessarily believe that there's a God. Because if they did, then they would know that there's consequences to your actions. And you know, maybe not in this life, but the next life. And yes, I do believe in reincarnation. Isn't that pretty? All the colors. So, and in a way, it was explained to me by the spiritual leader that if you've oppressed people in this life, for example, your next life, you can possibly be on the side of those who are oppressed. So your actions have consequences. I wanted to show you the art that I did this past week, but I have to get up and grab the art. I forgot to grab it before I started the live stream. Um, so I'm going to go ahead and finish painting the reflections, and then I'm going to grab the art that I did this past week while the paint for this dries. Right. So while that paint, we wait for that paint to dry before we start adding, creating the water. I'm going to go get the art that I worked on this past week. All right. Okay, I think I showed you, I've been working on portraits of um, primarily of men. I did a portrait series of different important women some few years back. So now I'm working on portraits of different men. And so starting off, I did Bad Bunny. I actually did 2 portraits of Bad Bunny. And I don't know if I showed you this last week because I think I did this the week before last. Next, Jackie Chan. Next is the second portrait of Bad Bunny. Actually, like the first one better, but this has a different energy. So, yeah. This is, oh my goodness, Clint Eastwood. Trying to get it closer so you can see. To see the different colors. All right, and this is Sean Connery as James Bond. Trying to get the angle right. Okay. This is Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker. I think that's how you say it, Joaquin Phoenix or Joaquin. And David Bowie. Okay. And then last but not least, I haven't shared this on social media yet, so it's going to go out today. on social media, and then I'm going to list it in my store. All this art has been listed in my store and on eBay. And this is, you know who, Jesse Jackson. And you can see his mustache look kind of weird, but I went by a photo of his, and this is how his mustache looked. Get it closer. Yeah, so that's all. That's who I worked on this week. And so I have to plan my week, plan this week. And I guess I'm going to continue some of the portraits. I'm not exactly sure. So usually I would have had my week outlined already, but I'm not exactly sure how I'm gonna. Oh, I do have some portraits that I've made some sketches, and I'm gonna work on those this week. Excuse me. So yeah, I'm going to work on some more portraits this week, um, at least part of the week. Okay. So acrylic dries fast. That's what's so nice about acrylic. So now I'm just gonna go in here and start creating different horizontal strokes. And it's okay if we mess up, because guess what? We can do it again. We can paint over it and start all over and do it again. And my water is abstract. It's not. I don't really go for like this realistic looking water. Um, like, as you can see, the first layer had lavender, turquoise. No, wasn't turquoise. It was a bluish green and light blue. So it's like I like when my water has lots of color in it. And now I'm gonna go over it with some white. Okay. So I can end it here, right? Because I think it doesn't look as busy as it did last week. But I think what I'm gonna do is probably add a little bit more blue. Okay. And um, and I think I'm gonna leave it here because if I do anything more, it's just going to look crazy. And honestly, I might have maybe did too much white, but I'm going to end it here. Because if you saw it last week, it was so busy. It was like your eyes couldn't rest on anything because it was just too busy. And you know, while I'm here, I'm gonna mix a little red with white to create pink. And I think I'm just gonna accentuate the buildings a little bit, the towers a little bit. All right. I may take away a little bit. I think I was a little bit too heavy-handed. So I'm just rubbing some of that pink that I added off. Nice thing about acrylic, if you mess it up or if you mess something up, you can paint over it. All right. All right. So I guess I'm done with this painting. I am gonna sign it and then list it this week. Um, this is the 5th Chicago Skyline I've done so far. The first 4 were done in oil pastels. Um, so this, I wanted to see how it would look in acrylic, but I would say that I prefer oil pastels better than the acrylic, or I haven't necessarily found my flow yet in acrylic. Um, Doing Chicago Skylines in acrylic. It's just that acrylic, I mean, in oil pastels, the colors are so vibrant. And that's what one thing about pastels is the colors are really vibrant. But the only thing about oil pastels is that you can't really layer like you can with acrylic. You can add a couple of layers of color and the colors will still pop. But after so many layers, the colors start to get muddy with oil pastels. So that's the only thing about oil pastels. You can't layer like you can with acrylic. But I haven't found, this is my first skyline. I haven't found my rhythm yet. I do like the top portion, the abstract sky, the colorful buildings. Those are fun. The water is interesting. I might have covered too much of the lavender up top because I wanted the lavender to peek through a little bit more. So it's kind of hard to see the the lavender. You can see a little bit of the bluish green, and then you can see a little bit of these colors. I mean, the bluish green and then the light blue at the bottom. But I think the lavender, you can't really see it anymore. So I know the next time I do it, I probably have to, when I go and add the horizontal lines for my water, that it has to be very subtle, very subtle. A little bit goes a long way. And that's what I'm seeing in acrylic. A little bit goes a long way. So it's 11:30. Every week I'm on here for 30 minutes painting, live painting. Next week I'm not sure what I'll be working on, but I'll be prepping whatever I'm going to be working on next Sunday, sometime this week. As I stated before, I go live every Sunday at 11 a.m. Central, and these live streams are a part of my podcast called Brushstrokes and Beyond. So don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next Sunday. All right. Bye.